Thank y'all for watching. My name is Chani Kinsler, also known as CK the Poet on the Xbox One, and this is my Let's Run It series where I talk about games that are creative, interesting, intuitive, and fun, but also have an educational element to it that can be enjoyed by both adults and children. So today we're going to talk about LetterQuest Grimm's Journey. This is the remastered version. The original came out back in November of 2014. Then the developers came out with a remastered version in 2016. This particular version for the Xbox One came out in April of 2016. I purchased this game back in February of 2018. Xbox had a big sale on a lot of different puzzle and trivia games, and I just bought a gang of them. I'm playing on the Xbox One X. This will not be in 4K, but you know, I had to do it in 1080p. My laptop can't do 4K. So I'm going to show off some stuff here in the game, just so you can kind of see what the game is about. And the next video is going to be gameplay, but I'm mostly going to talk a little bit about the company here. The publishers of this game is Diggerati Distributions. The developer is Bacon Bandit Games. All their games have a similar kind of art style, and they use kind of like, you know, if you ever played a Flash game on the Windows browser or whatnot, you'll be very familiar. Their humor in here is kind of weird too as well. As you can see, you can play normal or expert. It gives you 3 saves, which that's nice. I got 12 hours played, 45 out of 120 stars, 5 out of 40 stages completed, and 450 gems. So we're going to click on that. You can click back here to go back to your saves. These are the settings. You can change the music volume, you can change the effects in the game, and you can change back to the original soundtrack if you want to. And they got some little tips here at the bottom, which are kind of cool. They're very helpful as well, especially if you're new to LetterQuest. Gives you an example of a palindrome, a vowel with words with vowels, words that don't have vowels, and the tips are very helpful. But I'm gonna stick with the new soundtrack. I like the new soundtrack. So you can play endless mode. I did play one of endless mode just so I can see what it's about. And basically you just keep playing until you're defeated. And you use the gems. And you can play as a male Grimm or a female Grimm. And the female Grimm, her name is Rose. And the weapons have no effects. They're just purely cosmetic. You can use different tiles, which is kind of cool. You could play on different stages, and you could change the music as well, which is also kind of cool. But we're not going to do endless mode, we're going to do story mode. Just to give you another cool fact about this game, it's developed by 2 people, 2 Canadian guys. They worked really hard on this game. It's a really good game. It's rated very high, like a 4 out of 5. Like 9 out of 10. If I had to rate this game, I would give it like an 8, 8.5 out of 10. And the only reason why is because same reason I gave, you know, the rating that I gave to the other game I talked about, Spellspire. It has no co-op. I don't see any way for us to compare our stats with our friends. Of course, Xbox does have an in-game feature on their console to where I can compare my stats to my friends. But I mean, a lot of people probably would like to compare their stats to people worldwide. I don't know if this feature may be on other versions of the game. Not quite sure. Oh, another thing to kind of let you know about this game too as well, if you decide to purchase this for a loved one or for yourself or for a little one, keep in mind that if you buy this for the mobile version or for, I think it's mainly just the mobile version, it has in-app purchases. So make sure you go to your device and turn off them in-app purchases. They don't have no impulse control, so they're not buying gems with real money. But the console version does not have the in-app or in-game microtransactions. This game is about $10. I played a little bit less than that, and I believe it's cheaper on other platforms. But if you want to try the game out for free, I would definitely try the Grimm's Journey. And then get the remastered because it has more levels, different soundtracks, animations on the characters, just more. Definitely more. It's definitely worth the $10 versus playing the free version. And you get some little comic books. Like I said, this game has its own kind of goofiness to it. It has a little bit of a story to it as well, which is something that Spellspire didn't have. And basically you play as a Grim Reaper, or you can play as a female Grim Reaper. And he's hungry, so he wants to get some pizza. So he accesses his phone. Hey phone, where can I get some pizza? And he's like, oh my god, look how far that is. So he's like, okay, let me try to go get some pizza. So all these monsters are in his way, preventing him from getting some pizza. And I went up against my first boss. And he's like, oh boss, I couldn't stop him. He's like, oh, let me try to get to this pizza, I'm hungry. And then I fought another boss. I like it. I like the little art style that they have going here. Definitely. So I'm going to show off the store. The next video I'm going to show gameplay off. And here's, you know, old man Baggins with his big bag of goodies. I can up my health. I can up how much my scythe does damage, my armor, my ability to dodge attacks from enemies. I can use this to increase how many potions I can carry, how much my health potions give me, my chance of getting letters that will have crystal effect. So when I hit an enemy with the word that I spell that has a crystal effect on it, the enemy will drop crystals. And then of course, the ability to get more crystals from gem pals. I think they're called gems. I just call them crystals. Whatever. I've gotten pretty far in the game here. And as you can see, they kind of paid a little homage to the Bookworm Adventures by having a little bookworm dude there. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, if you ever played Bookworm Adventures, like, this game will definitely remind you of it. And as you can see, I got different books here. Definitely different books for different situations. And I made the mistake of buying this one because I didn't think I was going to get any more books. And then I got this one and I was like, oh no, I'd rather have this. I just wasted 500 gems on that other book when I could have got this. But some of them have different effects, and you'll play around with which ones you probably may want to work with. But just be very choosy about what you spend your gems on, because it's so hard. This game gets so hard once you get to stage 10. So here are your potions that you can buy. Your health potions, and these are your purified potions that remove bad tiles, because some enemies will change the effects of your tiles. These are other special effects that you can add to your player. And I don't plan on using any of these. I don't see any of these being useful. None of these. And basically the treasure chests are on certain stages. You'll have like this Hangman / Jeopardy like mini game where you select words and then it adds them to the I guess you could say the missing sections, and it spells a word. So if you get enough letters up there, then you can figure out what the word is, and you can just, oh, I know it spells sandcastle or sandbag, so I just need to pick A and B, and then it gives you something that you can use to fight the next boss, or the next monster rather. And like I said, you can play as a male Grimm or a female Grimm. I decided to play as Rose. You do have to unlock her later on. You don't get her, you know, at the very beginning. But they do have different properties. As you can see, Rose, she has less health since I'm playing as Rose. They do the same damage. Crazy. They do the same damage. But Rose has more of a chance to do criticals. But when the Grimm does criticals, he has more damage that he does with that crit. She has more armor. The other Grimm has a lower... Yeah, the Rose, she has a higher dodge chance. That's good. And her potions heal for more, which is really important. And crystal tile chance, that one's not as important. But I decided to play as Rose. And then you have the different scythes. Which you start off with the regular scythe that doesn't really do anything. It just does your base damage. And then you get access to each scythe as you go through the game. And some of these are really useful, some of them aren't really useful. And you can play around with it. Like the health ones, I think, well, if I gave advice, I say the health ones are probably really important. Like being able to do more damage like this one does, that's important. Or getting more health when you hit an enemy, that's really important. That's really good. I mean, increasing your max health, that's always nice, and reducing how much damage you take, that's always good. I decided to go with this scythe to where I keep getting more gems, because the more gems I get, the more upgrades I can do. And these are your tiles. You can change your tiles. This is the tiles that you start off with at first. And this game kind of looks like Scrabble a little bit. The little tiles look like Scrabble. It kind of reminds you of Scrabble. So I decided to go with the one that kind of sort of looks like Scrabble. And then this one right here has bigger letters, and this one has more of a, I guess you could say, straightforward look, but with a blue background. It might be easier on the eyes for some people. And then I guess these two I have to spell more. Hold up, I haven't spelled 1,000 words yet? I'm pretty sure that I probably would have spelled 1,000 words by now. 1,500 probably not, but come on, 1,000? But I'll probably use this pine one. I like the letters are a little bit bigger. That's interesting. And then you also have your quests, and you get gems for doing these quests. And these ones are pretty easy. I should be able to do that pretty quick, and I've done 37 out of 70 quests. I don't know what happens once I complete that. Have to see what that will do. There's no start button or anything. And then as you can see, stage 1, fight a monster, and then I hit a gem pile. And then you can replay this level to get a time trial. And you have a time limit of 1 minute and 20 seconds. And that's just to fight just the monster, not to hit the gem pile. So once you fight the monster, and whatever time, as you can see, my fastest time was 6 seconds. So I'm assuming I must have spelled like a really long word or something like that in one hit. The monster, the time will stop once you defeated the last monster on that stage, and then you can hit the gem pile. The longer your word is, the more damage you do to the gem pile, the more gems you get. And then your third star, you go up against the same monster and have the same gem pile, and you have to use 2 words or less. And then once you do that, you get your third star, and then you got a final star where the monster will be much more harder to beat, whether they have more health or they hit harder. And sometimes they'll have special properties where you can't use the letter E, or you can't use the letter A, or you can't use vowels or something like that, whatever effect they add. And as you can see, on stage 3, you fight a monster. You get to talk to Old Man Baggins with his bag of goodies. And a monster in a gem pile. And then this one right here, you have a monster, a treasure chest, another monster, and a gem pile. And like I mentioned earlier, the treasure chest can give you, power-ups that you can only use on that stage to kind of help you get to the end. And it starts to get difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when you encounter a monster for the first time, it tells you what that monster does. And that's good and all. And I like that, but there's one thing that's missing from this game that Spellspire has, and that Spellspire has a Monsterpedia where it explains every monster that you can keep going back to refer to see their weaknesses and their strengths. This game doesn't have that. And I thought that was kind of strange that they have all this content. There's so much content in this game. Like, you're gonna get so much overload when you see how much is in this game and so much of what you can do. But I'm like, well, why don't y'all have something that explains each monster that we encounter and what they do, Because after it shows it to you the first time, it doesn't show it to you no more. But it does at least show you how much damage they do, how much health they have, which that's helpful. So the game starts to get hard about here. Once you get to about 9 or 10, that's when it starts to get hard. And I just kind of went as far as it would let me go. And I don't even think I'm halfway through the game, y'all. I don't even think I'm halfway through the game. So this game is really long. I'm definitely going to have to redo some levels to get some more gems so I can level up. And I'm just going to show off one more thing, and then we'll be done. I'm going to show off my stats. I played 86 games, 12 hours played, 4 hours of the story mode, 20 minutes of the endless mode. Hold up, that doesn't add up. So what, do I have like a little over 5 hours where I'm just sitting there doing nothing? I guess so. But how many stars I've earned. And this is probably one of the most detailed player stats I've ever seen. Like, even better than Spellspires in my opinion. This is really good. Like, it shows your best everything. Longest word used, how many letters I've used. Oh, okay, I see. I've only spelled 800 words. So I have to get that one tile that I wanted to get, that one effect, I have to spell 1,000 words, which I'm not that far off. Shows how many vowels I use, how many consonants I've used, how many palindromes I've spelled. And it goes into grave detail. I like this. I've used almost 20,000 gems. Purchased at least 17 upgrades. Purchased at least 4 books. That's pretty good. And it shows off your combat, how much healing you've done, damage you've dealt. This is really cool. But one thing that they're kind of missing in this game that's also missing in Spellspire as well, like there's no like leaderboard. So you can compare your stats against other people in the world or against your friends. I mean, Xbox of course has an in-app feature on the console where you can compare your stats with your friends when it comes to certain games that you play. But I think it should definitely be in-game. Oh, and it shows you how many letters. Wow, that's long. It shows me how many times I've used a certain letter, and apparently I love the letter E. I've used that almost 500 times. And I did not realize until I played this game like how much we as English speakers use vowels. And when you go up against a boss that you cannot use vowels on, oh my god, you're gonna struggle. You're definitely gonna struggle. Okay, shows you how many 3-letter words you spelled. I guess I haven't spelled any words that are longer than 8 letters. Okay, I need to do a little bit better. And you're definitely gonna go up against monsters that have certain effects. Like as you can see right here, special tile effects. Certain monsters, when they hit you, they'll change the effects of the tiles. So, basically, when the enemy hits you and they cause some of your tiles to be cracked, those tiles will do half damage. When they plague a tile, if you use that tile to spell a word, that word won't do any damage. Spike tiles, I believe, do damage to you. Poison tiles also do damage to you as well. Whirlwind tiles, they change. Every time you do not use that letter when you spell a word, or every time you don't use that letter when you're spelling a word, it'll change that word to something else. I mean that letter, my mistake. It'll change that letter to something else. So if it was a Y and you don't use that Y, it'll change to a different letter, like a B or something like that. Duplicator tiles. Ooh, you gotta be careful with them duplicator tiles. They will catch you slipping. So if an enemy hits you and it changes a couple of tiles to duplicator tiles, if you don't use those tiles, it'll duplicate the next letter until you defeat that monster. So if it was a Y and an I and a Y that they set as a duplicated tile, if you don't use those letters, the letters next to that duplicator tile will turn it into the same letter. So if you have a Y that's a duplicator tile and the letter next to it was an A and you didn't use that Y, it's going to duplicate that A to a Y. And you're going to run out of letters real quick. You got to be careful with that one. Then you have the flip tiles. Nothing to be concerned about. It basically just turns the letters upside down. And it shows you stats for endless mode. Longest words I've ever used. Well, those are some pretty good words right there. Highest damage words. And highest damage words with bonuses. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, hey, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. This is my Let's Run It series. My name's Chani Kinsler, also known as CK the Poet. Stay tuned to the next video where I'm going to show off some gameplay. You're going to love this game. Thank you. Peace.